Welcome to our boat tour. We just bought this boat. It is a Hallberg Rassy Rasmus 35 from 1976. And if you're new to this channel, my name is Dana, and with my husband Lou, we actually spent the last 2 years living in a van traveling around Europe. And then when my younger brother David wanted to join the team to make videos full time, we decided that a van was too small and that we wanted to live on the ocean instead. And so we spent the last few months trying to find the perfect boat for us, and I think that we did it. And I thought I would take you through the whole setup that we have, and then what kind of changes we're gonna try to do in the next few months so that you can see where our boat journey begins, because we have really big goals. We're hoping to live on this boat for a few years and see a lot of the world. So this is just the beginning, and I'm really excited to show you around. I thought I would start with a little overview of our boat's layout. And I figured it could be easiest just to walk you through the back of the boat, or the stern, to the front of the boat, or the bow. So here we have the aft cabin, and that's David's room. Next we have the center cockpit, the Nav Station, the galley, also known as the kitchen, the saloon or living room. And here we have the head, also known as the bathroom. And in the front we've got our V-berth, and that's Lou and my bedroom. Now that you've got an understanding for how she's set up, let's show you the real thing. Welcome to our kitchen. It's honestly a pretty big kitchen in my opinion after living in a van. There's a great deal of storage here for pots and pans and, you know, canned goods and dried beans and things like that. But the thing that I think is really cool is that there's actually 2-burner stove and oven, which we haven't tried out yet, but that seems like pretty crazy to have an oven after living in a van. That's a huge perk for me. The other thing is that there's a pretty large sink on this boat. The owner previously was a naval engineer, and he rebuilt a lot of this boat, part of being the whole kitchen, though he did salvage the stovetop, so that's original from the boat, which I think is pretty cool. But the rest of this stuff he rebuilt, and one of the things he put in was a huge sink, so that should be very nice. The only thing is he didn't put in a fridge, which I understand because they take a lot of power, but we do have an ice box, which I've never actually used an ice box before, so I can't say if it's gonna work or not for us. We're not sure. We think that maybe in the future we would put a fridge in, but it totally depends on how much power we have, and if the solar panels that we put in end up having any extra, then maybe we'll put in a fridge one day. But overall, I think it's pretty good. And then if you're rocking and cooking at the same time, you do have these handholds. So I feel like overall, I'm really looking forward to getting comfortable and like making this our home. This Nav Station is a system designed for sailors who use paper charts. But since we're going to be using digital charts, we thought we'd turn it into a standing desk. Our plan is to remove the chair and desk support and then add 6 drawers. We'll keep the hinge top, but expand it so that it can fit our camera and a few other critical items. Hopefully, after all the construction is done, this corner of the boat will make life aboard much more comfortable and organized. It's a bit of a project, and I hope that we can make it look as nice as it looks now, but the boys have convinced me that it will still look pretty when they're done with it, so fingers crossed it looks nice. So this is our seating area. So I think this is gonna be, you know, our dining table, our workspace, where we hang out. But I think for us, it seems like a great option. This table also goes down, and then you can turn this whole thing into an extra bed in case we ever have visitors, or I've been told that if the the ocean gets really rough, Lou and I will end up sleeping here because the middle of the boat rocks a lot less than the front of the boat. So yeah, a lot of new experiences to come. But overall, I think this is a great spot. There's also storage beneath all of these things. Where you are sitting, David, filming this, there are all the batteries. So he has lead batteries, and we're actually going to switch those out and put lithium batteries in so that we can have the most power for our space. I feel like this is so cozy, and it really is much bigger than it looks. And I feel like it's all the space we need. But yeah, I'm excited to figure out how to turn this into a cozy home for us. Welcome to our bedroom, also known as the V-berth. So this is Lou and my cabin. We'll be sleeping here. It's in the front of the boat, which apparently is the rockiest part of the boat, but hopefully we don't get seasick. Neither of us really know what's gonna happen, but keeping our fingers crossed. And honestly, I love this bedroom. I think after living in a van where our bedroom was in the same room as the kitchen and the bathroom, while we're very close to the bathroom and the kitchen, we do have this lovely door which makes me feel like this is like a proper house. There's so much storage here. There's storage like on the sides here and up here there's a cubby, but we also have a hatch and it opens up to the top so we can get airflow. There's a lot we need to learn about this boat, but I'm really excited to move aboard. Hopefully we're gonna move aboard in like a month. This closet is really nice and it has hangers and things, but I think that for us it would make more sense to have shelves. So I think we're gonna put a couple of shelves in here just so we can have this probably be a pantry. Okay, so this is the bathroom. This is the toilet. You pumped the toilet. There's a sink. That's really all you need. Okay, so this is gonna be David's bedroom. This is in the back of the boat or the stern of the boat, and it's a very good sized cabin. And actually this is one of the main reasons why we ended up with the Hallberg Rassy 35-foot Rasmus, because within our price range, almost all of the boats, other boats that we were looking at, only had like a pilot's berth. So this is a full proper bedroom. There's space between the two cabins, and I think it will be like a really good way to have a functional life with 3 people on a tiny boat. So this is the crawl space thing that you can talk through, and it goes straight into the kitchen. So if you ever need help, David, you can just yell.
All right, so this right here is our engine. It's a 4-cycle, 44 horsepower Yanmar from 1989. And the condition of this engine room is the reason I was sold on buying this boat. It is spotless. You could literally eat dinner on this engine. Yeah, I'm hoping she behaves for us.
We also have a shower. So in here we have our propane, and so there's actually room for 2 propane canisters, which is great. And there's a hole that through the bottom, because propane is heavier than air, so it will sink. And so to make sure that it doesn't stay in the boat, it has a hole that goes out to the side that will escape towards the back of the boat above the water line. So I think that the guy who took care of this boat and built the whole setup really was thinking for how do we make this the safest option. And so the propane is here instead of how it originally was, which was in the front of the boat, right where the anchors were. And so it made him a little nervous with all the anchors bouncing around and hitting the propane. This seemed like a safer option that you can check on much easier. So I feel like hopefully it works really well for us. One thing that we also liked about the boat was that it has an emergency bilge, a hand pump bilge, so that's easy access from the cockpit in case we have water coming on board. So that wraps up the cockpit, and now let's go on the outside of the boat.
Cool, follow you.
Know what it's called? Outside of the boat? I don't know. So here we are at the bow of the boat, or how normal people say the front of the boat. We have a windlass here, and so this helps us get the anchor up. The other thing that we have is a deck step mast, and so that goes here. And some boats have a mast that goes all the way through the boat, and ours isn't like that. It just attaches with hardware. So here we are at the stern of the boat, and one of the things that's really important to us so that we can comfortably live on this boat is that we have enough power. So we decided that we are going to put a stern arch here. So a big old arch, and it's gonna have solar on top of it. And then we've also decided that over this bimini, which is basically just an awning over the cockpit, is gonna also have 2 solar panels on it. So I think we should be okay. And so I guess with that, I'll just say see you next week, and we're gonna have a lot more boat adventures on here soon. So I hope you enjoy them, and thank you for watching. Bye.